horticulturist. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Hey my beautiful dudes, this week I'm making my dream come true and putting together a little kitchen garden with some fresh herbs because quite frankly I am so sick of buying herbs from the supermarket and have them go all dried and gross and grotty and moldy within like a week. But with the pandemic lockdown at the moment, I'm unable to leave my house, so I decided to hop online, find some place that would send some fresh herb plants to me, and DIY something to put them in with just things around the apartment. If that interests you, or you think that you can get some ideas or inspiration, or you just want to hang out, then keep watching. Yay! Yay! So when I ordered online, I received multiple emails from the company with detailed instructions on how to care for your plant, what to do immediately after receiving it, and how to care for them before you pot them. So I feel like I have everything that I need, and they've provided me everything that I need to not fail at this. But given the lockdown conditions and that I don't have any new pots or the appropriate fertilizer, etc., I feel kind of bad. But hopefully this will work out. I think the first step to any beginner herb garden is to choose herbs that you actually purchase very frequently and find yourself using in your cooking. For us, that's thyme, coriander, rosemary, chives, parsley. I also had my eye on basil and dill and bay leaf, but they were sold out at the time, so there's room for expansion. Secondly, look for herbs that you find cool. I chose elderflower for this very reason. But also I think it has a lot of medicinal purposes. I mean, at least I can make some elderflower tea. So the next part of their instructional video tells us to cut off and remove all the plastic and then submerge the plants in water until the bubbles stop bubbling, as they must be thirsty since they came all the way from Queensland.
Then we remove the plants from the water and place it on the surface where the rest of the water can drain out, because we do not want the plants continually submerged in water or they might develop root rot. But they need to be well moisturized.
Now that everyone's had an afternoon drink, they can chill with their friends by the window while we get their new homes ready. Start by taking some jars and bottles in your recycling and soaking them overnight to release the adhesive and remove those labels. I tend to start with soaking them first and then scrubbing the labels off. If any adhesive remains, then I like to cover it with olive oil and a paper towel and let that sit for a few hours, after which the oil should release the adhesive and it will wipe right off. Once my cans were clean and dry, I took a pair of pliers to bend down the sharp rim of the can. You could of course sand these down if you had any sandpaper. I didn't, and it's locked down, so we gotta work with what we got.
When I was in primary school, a friend of mine had a can of tuna for lunch, and she massively cut her thumb on the edge of the can. And that has always stayed with me.
Once we turn down all the edges around the can, we're going to flip it over and create some drainage holes. These are really important as herbs require a lot of drainage. They don't like being waterlogged as this could lead to root rot.
I'm just trying to use something that's pointy to make lots of drainage holes already.
Using the hammer to tap lightly on the screwdriver to puncture the hole, I then used my upper body weight to bore the rest of the hole in the can. As I mentioned earlier, herb plants need good drainage, and before I knew this fact, I had planned on using my glass jars as herb planters as well. You saw me clean them in this video, but there is no way I am getting any drainage holes in that glass without breaking something or injuring myself. You can decorate your cans however you want. My initial idea was spray paint. That was the only paint that I had with a primer built into it. As you know, the key to spray paint is multiple thin layers, but it's growing kind of late in the day and I wanted to get these babies in the soil as soon as possible, so I decided to ditch the spray paint idea. As soon as that first layer was dry, I shifted to decorating my cans with some leftover vinyl scraps. I really didn't have a plan for the design in mind at all. I was just kind of feeling it in the moment, cutting out some shapes, putting things where I thought they looked good and see what comes out of it. It was really kind of meditative and freeing to just go where my creativity takes me. Every time I thought I made a mistake, I just had the Bob Ross approach of a happy accident. So here we ended up with some kind of a mountain viewscape with rainbows and a terrazzo looking can. To replace the glass jars that I thought I was going to use, I actually did a bit of cleaning around my house and found some pots that would work perfectly with these designs. You'd be surprised with what you have when you actually take the time to look. On to the potting. So this is some indoor premium potting mix that I had lying around. This isn't anything special. This isn't the potting mix that the company recommended. This is just what I had lying around at home. Again, I couldn't go out and get any. You garden enthusiasts out there are probably going to be yelling at the screen right now with what I'm doing, but this is what we're doing. As you can see, I'm very helplessly trying to use a spoon to minimize any mess on my kitchen counter, and you'll see very shortly that I give up on this endeavor. It's a messy business, and I've got to accept that. As you saw me do earlier, I'm once again submerging the plants in water. They also recommended that we do this during this stage of the planting to make sure that they're nice and wet and ready for their new home. When planting, I did notice that some of the herbs brought on some friends during their trip from Queensland, and I had to do my best not to get freaked out by some wriggly wet earthworms. I left them in there and planted them right along with the herbs because A, I didn't want to touch them. B, it looks like they're very comfortable in their home, and C, I think they might actually be beneficial. I've read online that the earthworms boring holes in the soil help with drainage, and whatever they metabolize is actually can be nutritious. Look, as long as these babies thrive, I am happy. Now that everybody is nice and settled in their new homes, let's go out for a family photo. As you can see, I didn't completely ditch the glass jars from earlier. I decided to try my hand at propagating some of the herbs that I already had in my fridge. Who knows if this is gonna work? I've never propagated before, but don't they just look so cute together? I also have some poppy and phlox there that I'm starting from seed, and hopefully I can show you some progress on those in the next few weeks. But I just couldn't wait to get everybody together for a family photo. And there you have it, guys. We have our very own herb garden. If your plant babies are staying outside, make sure they are situated in a place that gets full sun. I think that means 6 to 8 hours a day, but do not quote me on that. If your herbs are staying inside, then make sure they get a VIP ticket to your sunniest window. Otherwise, there are many grow lights available out there online. I hope this project inspires you to do something productive and wholesome this lockdowns, so that, like my little herbs here, you don't just survive, you thrive. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one.